The future has come.
The future is not a time zone that is yet to come. The future is everything that we can be but have not yet become. The future is everything that we can do but have not yet done. The future is here, the future is now. So go ahead and deliver the future. Because you can, because you must. And together we will.
Nigeria hasn't always justified the faith of its people. But there comes a time when you are pushed to the wall and there's nowhere to go but up.
If we just decide in our hearts that we want to believe in Nigeria and we want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
This is our dream, and a new Nigeria is that dream that we so much seek and desire.
The destiny of Nigeria is in our hands. We are the country. The country is us.
We are Nigeria.
We are that turning point generation. We are Nigeria. We are the future.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun. When we have nowhere else to run to, we have nowhere else to go. So get out of the way of the land of our dreams. We are the nation, we are part of this. Oh, oh. We are the nation, we are part of this. Whoa. Sound. The future is here. The future is here. Goodbye yesterday, tomorrow is now for the taking. The future is here. The future is here. I am the future. I am the future. I am the dream. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I am the nation. I am part of this. Yes, I am so amazing. Changing history. How can they say that we are finished if we have just begun? When we have nowhere else to run, nowhere else to run to, nowhere else to go. Hey, I am the land of my dreams. Oh, I am the nation. I am part of this. Hey, yeah, yeah. So get out of the way of the land of my dreams. Raise your hands in the air if you believe the future has come now. The future is here. The future is here. This is our, this is our, this is our country. The future is here. The future is here. The future has. The future has come.
The future is not a time zone that is yet to come. The future is everything that we can be but have not yet become. The future is everything that we can do but have not yet done. The future is here, the future is now. So go ahead and deliver the future. Because you can, because you must. And together we will.
Nigeria hasn't always justified the faith of its people. But there comes a time when you are pushed to the wall and there's nowhere to go but up.
If we just decide in our hearts that we want to believe in Nigeria and we want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
This is our dream, and a new Nigeria is that dream that we so much seek and desire.
The destiny of Nigeria is in our hands. We are the country. The country is us.
We are Nigeria.
We are that turning point generation. We are Nigeria. We are the future.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun. When we have nowhere else to run to, we have nowhere else to go. So get out of the way of the land of our dreams. We are the nation, we are part of this. Oh, oh. We are the nation, we are part of this. Whoa, carry the song, carry the sound. The future is here. The future is here. Goodbye yesterday, tomorrow is now for the taking. The future is here. The future is here. I am the future. I am the future. I am the dream. Whoa, I am the nation. I am part of this. Yes, I am so amazing. That's the least I shall be. The least I shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun. When we have nowhere else to run. Nowhere else to run to. Nowhere else to go. Hey. Oh, I am the nation. I am part of this. Hey, yeah. So get out of the way of the land of my dreams. I am the nation. I am part of this. Whoa, carry the song, carry the sound. The future is here. The future is here. Goodbye yesterday, tomorrow is now for the taking. The future is here. The future is here. Raise your hands in the air if you believe the future has come now. The future is here. The future is here. This is our, this is our, this is our country. The future is here. The future is here. The future has. The future has come.
The future is not a time zone that is yet to come. The future is everything that we can be but have not yet become. The future is everything that we can do but have not yet done. The future is here, the future is now. So go ahead and deliver the future. Because you can. Because you must. And together we will.
see. Land of peace. This may sound funny, but when I look around, that is what I see. Land of such ethnic and cultural diversity. A land so rich, giant of Africa. Land of champions, land of the best. In the midst of the adversities, we stood the test. Yeah, yeah. And through all the mess of these years, one day will come clean. I love nature, I love the green, white, green. Oh, unity and faith. In the midst of the abundance, so many people know they enjoy the benefits of the plenty things we get from under our soil. But I hope that one day we go change our ways so that for the future generation, Nigeria will be a better place. Join our hands, make we make our own good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, God bless this nation. God bless
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for this special edition of Thursday Talks. For those who are new, Thursday Talks is a monthly conversation that is hosted by EIE Nigeria and Budget. We've hosted it since March 2018, and this would be, I forget not what the number this one would be, but this one is quite different. For number one, we always have it at 5:30 in the evening, but this one we're having at 8 p.m. to accommodate different time zones. And ensure that people are settled from work to have the conversation. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to have moderating the conversation for us today. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Yemi. I'm the Executive Director at Enough is Enough Nigeria. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to have moderating this conversation, Lanre Olushola. The series started last week on the 21st of October, the day after 1 year of the Lekki massacre was commemorated, in addition to the October 2020 protests. Just looking at trauma and looking at the effect of that incident on Nigerians and our psyche, and just generally that in very different ways, we are traumatized because we live in Nigeria and we're having to deal with the very interesting issues that Nigeria throws up at us. One of the panelists last week, Dr. Merino, said there's what she likes to call traffic-induced trauma. So you have that, you have COVID setting up increased numbers of sexual and gender-based violence that has causing trauma to children, to women, to men, to families, really, across the country and indeed across the world. So without further ado, and we decided that our contribution to talking about NSAS within the larger context was to look at the effect of trauma, not just in relation to police brutality, but just being Nigerian, and talk about that and provide hopefully some tips in coping, and for those who need further counseling and coaching, an opportunity to do so. So the conversation started last week, as I said, on Clubhouse, and continues today here on Zoom. And without further ado, Mr. Olushola, over to you.
Good evening, Yemi. How are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you for this incredible opportunity to facilitate the conversations around trauma. And trauma is what we are all going through in Nigeria. And indeed across the world with the COVID pandemic in the last 2 years. And so, I want to thank Enough is Enough for saying that enough is truly enough, and for standing in the gap on our behalf, and for Nigerians that their voices are being silenced, and Nigerians that do not have a voice yet. So tonight, our conversations are centered around trauma, around police brutality, around institutions of power and authority. We've got incredible panelists tonight who are going to be championing the conversations. Tonight, we've got, 4 incredible panelists, and I'm just going to quickly, introduce them. We've got, in no particular order, we've got Debo Adedayo. We all know him as Mr. Macaroni. You're doing well. He's a Nigerian comedian. He's an actor. He's an active citizen. Is best known for his Instagram skits. In fact, during the trauma of the COVID, the lockdown, he really, really, truly, gave us some succor with some fun, some laughter, and that helped a lot of us boost our dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. I often say that comedians are doctors because, they do quite a lot of work unknowingly in helping us keep our hearts glad. And, once your heart is glad, every other negativity is gone temporarily. So I want to really, really thank Mr. Macaroni for those creative, innovative, pieces and skits that he's put out. He was one of the leading figures during the NSAS protest and during the Occupy Lekki Tollgate protest. He, alongside several other protesters, were detained in a Black Maria. And, so Debo, thank you for joining us tonight. We've got Jide Ahmed. Jide Ahmed by the Lagos State government on the 13th of February, 2021. What a day that would have been, just before Valentine's, when you would have planned that, you would show some love, to yourself and other people. What a day, to be arrested. I wonder what that, experience would have been like. He was arrested at the Lekki Tollgate. He was brutalized by officers of the Nigerian police force and subsequently arraigned at the mobile court in Banchi, was eventually granted bail. Now, Jide actively participated during the NSAS protests in Lekki and was one of the survivors who witnessed the shooting. He has not stopped advocating for the new Nigeria after his ordeal in October 2020 and February 2021, welcome to this conversation, Jide. The third panelist is none other than Mrs. Chinyere Eze. Mrs. Chinyere Eze was arrested by 4 officers of the Nigerian police on the 17th of July, 2021. Four, not one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this was after she was unsuspectingly tricked by them to pick up a DHL parcel at her bus stop. She was beaten when she resisted arrest and eventually gave in after the police officers threatened to shoot her. I can just imagine what that seemed like, what kind of trauma that would have caused. She was detained for 11 days under horrendous conditions at the station. She was further brutalized, tortured, and forced to write statements indicting her husband, who the police had originally wanted to arrest. So she was used as a bait. Now, she was only released after her husband was eventually arrested. Now, the sum of 178,000 was extorted from her during and after her detention, and several properties belonging to her family, including a Honda Accord vehicle, was confiscated by the police. None have been returned till date. She's a petitioner of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry, and the matter has been stepped down due to controversies surrounding it, the matter. And the fourth panelist is my very good friend, my sister, my very well-respected colleague in the industry, Dr. Maimuna Yusuf Kadiri. She's the only strength that we have in our sector. She's a multiple award-winning mental health and physician and advocate. She's the medical director and psychiatrist in chief at the Pinnacle Medical Services, a very prominent, innovative clinical treatment facility where they treat a wide range of psychological, emotional, and behavioral disorders. She's a trained and certified rational, emotive, and cognitive behavioral therapist from the Albert Ellis Institute, New York, and Beck's Institute for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, Philadelphia, United States of America. So tonight, we've got 4 panelists. I am going to be facilitating the conversations, and I'm sure each and every one of us is excited. I'm sure each and every one of us cannot wait for this. And so, let's get into the conversation. Let's begin this conversation. Let me have. Okay, so can I? Right, Yemi, who's supporting me here, so that I can begin to bring up some of the panelists just to chime in.
They're all here
for 5-10 minutes.
So Debo's video is on, and they're all anybody that you ask to start speaking can unmute themselves and show their video. So Jide, Chinyere, Dr. Maimuna, and Debo are all in the room.
Awesome. So I'm only just going to be partial, and I'm going to call Mr. Macaroni first. This incredible guy, probably doesn't even know how much good his skits have done. There was a research that was done by McKinsey and Company in the heart of COVID, March and April last year. And they realized that a good number of us, cumulatively over 75% of us, based on COVID-19, is suffering from trauma, is suffering from depression, and is suffering from anxiety. Of us are stressed. And so Mr. Macaron has really helped us, especially me, cope with a lot of the traumas that we all suffered from media, from social media, from being bombarded with a lot of videos, a lot of messages in the last 2 years. So let me have Mr. Macaroni unmute himself. I think possibly he's having network challenges. Mr. Macaroni, if you can unmute yourself and, let's see your face, and then let's hear from your own experience, your own personal experience, how you were traumatized and exactly how you felt when you were put in that Black Maria. Mr. Macaroni. Oh, it seems like we're having network issues with him. All right, so I'm just going to switch it off. Let me go to Jide. Is Jide here? Jide, if you're here. Hi, Jide, how are you?
How you guys doing? Mine's okay. I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for, agreeing to participate in the conversation. February, you had plans for Valentine's and then you were arrested. Tell us about, that ordeal and how that traumatized you. Just tell us your story in about 10 minutes. And yes.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful. So I'm super excited to share my experience with you all because this is literally amazing. So where do I even start from now? Should I start from where I got arrested or I got picked or I got at the target? Or should I start anywhere?
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Okay, so last year was a very tough year so far. So I survived like a massacre last year. So I feel like, okay, it was a very traumatic experience for so many people out there. So this year, when we heard that they were about to reopen the target, we felt it was not cool. Like we felt differently, and we thought that war was literally happening to us. Like, what is going on? Can't we do something about that? And myself and my friends felt like, let's just go and, speak up because that's just the right word to do, that's the right thing to do. So we went there and we're in a car with so many people out there and we're, going around with so many policemen out there and there were plenty of them. And when I was on CNN, I saw that so many people out there got arrested, and when they did, I was really worried about them. So, three of my friends were in the same car, and we got them to target. We're like saying, "We want justice," for over 5 minutes. So before we could know, we had policemen trying to chase us, and I didn't want to run, so I had to wait, and then I was literally, picked and I was hit in my face. It was so hard, I was just slapped in my face, like pop. It was literally crazy. So I got used to it. I feel like, that's just a slap, I was in a car and then we were literally moving to Black Maria and
I go upstairs.
I was the last person.
Director.
It was so
Please, can I go upstairs?
It was so traumatic for us, it was so terrible. So when we got into the black, whatever it's called, I don't know what it is. So they were trying to drive. So I was like, text my friends, hi guys, we've been picked. I don't know where they're taking us to. Hey, your man to be picked, that's blah, 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 and sort of thing. So all my friends started, pointing out that we've been picked. And then I remember, first of all, I was hit on my face. Like I was given a slap, very huge, massive one, and thrown into the back of my rear, me and my friends. So what I simply did was that I took pictures of three of us and I was like, I went on Twitter and I was like, hi guys, we've been picked. These are our names, blah, blah, blah. I shared it to my WhatsApp people and They were like, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be fine, you know, like everything's literally gonna be okay. And then they were trying to like they were driving the whatever, I don't know what it's called, the black man, whatever. I don't know, they were driving it, and then I was kind of not balanced, you know, so I fell, and then we got to Adinija police station. We got there, and one person comes up, like that, like that. So I was the last person because I was texting everybody like, "Hey guys, we've been picked," you know. Also, my friends in London like, "Hi guys, have been picked," you know, shit, and you know, I don't know what's gonna happen now. So, they were searching us, you know, for phones. They collected our phones, so they were taking pictures of us. I was on my face masks, you know. I was like, "This is COVID-19, you know, guys." I was on my face masks, and then I was the third person to enter there. Like, oh my god, sorry, fourth person. As I was about to pull my leg in the door, I was hit from my back. Pow! Take off your face mask, bruv. Oh my god, it was so terrible. I had to start like coughing when I was being hit. My face was so bad. The slap was so massive, and they said we start pulling our clothes. And when we did that, they were beating us. Oh my god, like it was so terrible, and I was being beaten and stuff like that, and you know I was being hit in my face, my leg, whatever, like everywhere, and my friends were being beaten too. My friends' glasses were broken though, so I just felt like, you know, I just trying to protect him, like, yeah, blah blah blah, and then we put our clothes. Then we're going towards the cell. They took us to the cell, and oh my god, like this is my first time of entering the police station. Like I've never in my entire life done this shit before, but when I entered there, it was literally smelling. It was, oh my god, I slept on the floor, bro, like for like an hour, and when I slept on the floor, I was just, you know, wondering like what's going to happen to me. You know, I knew I didn't come out that day, so but I just felt this different types of smell everywhere. It was smelly, it was dirty, it wasn't well, you know, it wasn't really cool. So I literally kept on praying, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna come out today and stuff like that. And that place was literally smelling, guys. I'm being honest right now. It was so smelly, it was dirty, it was literally bad. We met other guys that they were like, hey guys, you guys are gonna come out well, you guys are gonna come out better. And remember, guys, there's COVID-19, and these guys were beating us. Like they were beating us, they said us, west us, you guys will not kill you guys, blah blah blah. I mean, I feel like being rude to a police officer or protesting doesn't, the penalty doesn't have to be death, because I mean, I get always saying all this rubbish to me. So they were like, we're gonna kill you guys, blah blah blah. And then uh 30 minutes later, we brought up this from the cell. I was naked, you know, all of us, like four of us. So we're coming out, and then they were like, are you guys, what's wrong with you guys? Are you guys looking for blah blah blah? It's all rubbish nonsense from their mouth. They were like, what is your problem? Why are you trying to destroy us? Blah, blah, blah. And then that was how this SARS guy just came and gave me a whole slap in my face. Base. Oh my God. It was so terrible that day. I mean, it was, it wasn't funny. Like, it was so terrible that day. Like, I feel like what was going to happen to me? Like, and then I was just on the floor, and then they had to tie our hands to our backs. And with our clothes, though, with my clothes, my trousers, and then my friends, they were beating us. So like the fourth person, like the third person, they're beating into the accident where he couldn't hear anymore. So they were stepping on him, using planks to beat him. So he couldn't hear anymore. So I was trying to help him throughout like the whole shit. And then as we're being, you know, being beaten and stuff like that, how our hands were tied to the back, so they had to put us in the bus, in a small bus. I was like, what's going to happen? Like, this is a very small bus. And like I said, I had to tie to our backs. And even before we got to the bus, they were still beating us. They were beating us from the police station till the bus. When we entered the bus, it was very hard with planks, with lots of things, with clothes. So we entered the bus.
Seems like we've lost Jide. Or is it just me? Yeah, me. Can you hear Jide, or is it just me that is home?
And it was so terrible. It was uncomfortable. We were supposed to lap ourselves, and it was so terrible. So, yeah. So my slide, I have a nice slide that was taken from police guys. I haven't got into today though. So, and our staffs, I mean, the brothers, they were like asking questions, who wants this shit? And I was like, this is for me. And then they took us to Panty. I don't know what it's called. I've never been there for my entire life. Took us there, and then they brought us from the bus down the floor. Like, you guys should get out, get down. And before we got to Panty or whatever it's called, they were like, we're gonna kill you guys. We're gonna like kill you guys. We're gonna like
Hi, Jide. Hi, Jide.
Hi.
Hello, Jide.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. So just start rounding for us so that we can have other panelists also, introduce. Thank you.
So like that was my boy. But when I was writing my statement, they were like I was being on my face though, like, but it was a very traumatic experience for me, and I felt really bad because so many people moved on the next day. So it was just a very traumatic experience for me because I mean I survived Lakey Mats again, and I'm coming out today here again to fight for the same thing I fought last year. So it's literally I was like, I expect more people to come out the next day, but people didn't come out, So I just feel like let me just let it go. So that's what's happened though. But it was a very tough experience for me. It was dramatic, and yeah, that was that. That's just it for that. Those 2 days though.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jide, for sharing. I'm going to come back to you. I have loads of questions for you, just to allow other panelists also, share with us. Mr. Macaroni, seems like you have been, Mr. Macaroni, are you with us? Okay, so it seems like I'm going to skip Mr. Macaroni and I am going to go to Mrs. Chinyere. Mrs. Chinyere, can you please unmute yourself? And it'll be great if we can see you. If we can't see you, then that's also fine. So Mrs. Chinyere, are you here? Hello, Chinyere. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. She's the one that's not speaking. Oh, she's dropped off, and now I think she's trying to connect back.
Okay, all right. I think some of us are having network issues. I can see Mr. Macaroni with a boom mic, so it seems like he's occupied at the moment. So, Mrs. Chinyere, are you here? Mrs. Chinyere, you can unmute yourself. All right, whilst we're waiting for Mrs. Chinyere, I think she's unmuted. Yes, hi, Mrs. Chinyere, how are you? Mrs. Chinyere? Looks like we're having network issues with her. Whilst we wait for her to sort out her network issues, just to recap what I heard from Jide. I want each and every one of us to just imagine this, right? Imagine being chased by policemen. Imagine being slapped. Imagine being hit. Imagine being thrown in a Black Maria. Imagine falling all over yourselves, you and your friends. Imagine being taken to a police station. Imagine being stripped naked. Imagine being stripped of all your possessions, your clothes, your phones, and every means of communication. Imagine being beaten over and over and over again. Imagine receiving your life. Imagine being thrown into a cell, smelly, unkempt, dirty, naked. Imagine your hands tied behind your back. Imagine, a situation where your friend is beaten to a state of pulp that he can't even hear anymore. I just want you to imagine how that feels. You don't know what would happen in the next moment. You don't know what would happen in the next 1 hour. Imagine what feeling that would give you. And as you imagine it, I want you to just type into the chat room the kinds of emotions that started to play up, as you imagine that scenario. Just quickly type into the chat room as we bring on Mr. Macaroni. Type into the chat room the kinds of emotions that you started to feel as you started to imagine. So, Debo, thank you for joining us.
Yes, so
how are you tonight?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm so sorry for joining in late on and off. I'm actually on set, but I said I have to take our time to be on this because it means a lot to me. It means so much to me. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. So, in about 5-7 minutes, we know that, at the, the great day, that day at the Occupy Lekki toll gates protest, alongside several other protesters, you were detained in a Black Maria. And tell us your story and how that made you feel in about 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, so how did it even start that day? The thing is, that day, my mother, my father, my siblings, everyone, my friends, of course, because they know they will go out. Everybody was like, they will go out. And of course, I had to go out because I'm a Nigerian and I have a right to go out, to step out. So they've called and everyone said, please, Josh, I know me and everything. And then, in all honesty, I did not set out to protest, in all honesty. I wanted to go observe to see, okay, what's even really happening there? Because I already saw a video at the time. I was very close to the toll gate because I had the shoots there. So I already saw a video where they already picked up one guy and then locked the person up. I'm like, no, come on, back to square one. We can't be doing this now. So I went there. So I didn't take my car deliberately. So I picked a bike. I just disguised. I used hoodies. Then getting to the toll gate, just as I got there, about 2 police officers accosted me. And then they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, first, that's a silly question to ask. This is the toll gate. It's not for one person. It's for all Lagosians. I'm a Lagosian. I'm a Nigerian. So I don't understand why you're asking me what I'm doing at the toll, So go, this place is out of bound, and then it went on and on. And I said, oh, well, that information is new to me. I'm just hearing for the first time that toll gate is out of bound. So I stood around and I was looking. I said, what's going on? Can I move? And then, the way they are now, police would go. So I picked my phone that time and then I started I went live. Then they had not taken me to the center stage, go, where things were happening. I was just by the side of the toll gate. So when immediately saw that I went live, the guys, they started saying, okay, pick this guy up, throw him in the van. So before they took me to the Black Maria, the first of all put me in a police van. So when they did that, they were just, why you like trouble? You're not too much. And then they were going on and on. So I think they went to call their superior at the time. The superior got there, saw that I was live, and they said, oh, hey, very good. Oh, yeah, follow us. So they bundled me, and then they took me to where the others were, to the Black Maria. I got in. At the time, I was still with my phone. I was still on live video. And then I saw the others, like, oh, well, okay, here we are. Let's see how this plays out. So, cut the long story short, they came in after some minutes. Perhaps maybe their Ogas told them that I'm live, and then they needed to stop that. So they came and then they snatched my phone. They came back again. I was with another phone, so they came back again. They collected the other phone, and then there was a guy that was with me that decided to beat that one. He didn't want to release his phone, but I'm like, oh, come on. You're here already now, isn't it? So they collected all our phones, and after like 30 minutes, they took us to, is it Adekunle, Adekunle, what they call the name of that station? So getting there, hey, there were some daredevil, fast You can't tell me otherwise. These were the SARS that we've been talking about. These were the SARS guys we've been talking about. So they were just waiting. So getting there, they first told all of us to pull our shirts. That was when we were still in the compound outside. So we should pull our shirts. And then from nowhere, they would just come from one angle to another, and then they would just slap anyone. They slapped me. So, of course, it was, I don't be that now. I ain't be that. Foolish guy, blah, blah, blah. They were saying also. And they would come, hit me, hit everyone. They were beating everyone there, you know. But of course, I think my flesh kind of attracted them. So I was getting those bars left and right. And then after some minutes, they took us into one of the cells. They stripped us naked, all of us naked. I mean, completely naked. And then I don't know, they were searching for whatever it was they were searching. Of course, at that time I was, I'm used to being treated badly, but not as bad as that particular day, because I've always been on this side that I am on presently, the side that says no to oppression or injustice of any form. So I'm used to people wanting to victimize me, and I'm used to standing up for myself. But that one was very different because I was being brutalized. You know, these guys were hitting us with sticks. They were punching us. There was one that put his fingers right into my face, and you know, they were doing all sorts. It was just to tell you that we are angry. You guys are ruining our business. I mean, it's good business that we're chopping life. We collect money from citizens and we're enjoying. So who are you guys to come and stop that? And it was clear that these guys had enablers. There were people, there are powers, not where. There are powers that allow this system, this particular system of oppression and of police brutality to thrive. You know, so they were very upset and they were doing all of that. And in fact, at some point, it was the guys around. They were just looking at me, saw my face, my eyes, and oh boy, Macaroni, sorry, so sorry. You know, and then it was that they were the ones that made me feel very bad, you know, because all of them were just saying, oh, sorry, Macaroni. I'm like, leave me. In my mind, leave me now. We're all in this together, isn't it? So they left us for a while, and then they came back after some minutes again, said all of us should line up again, took us back to the counter. What do they call that? Their space. So they started to tie us now. I mean, you'll take your shirt, tie your hand to the other person's hand. For me, they used handcuffs. So they handcuffed me to another guy. It was so uncomfortable and it was so tight. They did that intentionally. So the more you move, it was hell. And while we were handcuffed, they kept hitting us and slapping us against ourselves and, you know, using planks. In fact, it got to a point, it was one of them that told me, like, I don't do, I don't, you know. So it was clear. They wanted to send a message that, look, you had better stop what you're doing. This thing that you feel that you are speaking up, you're standing for something, you had better stop it. And they made it clear that's what they wanted to do. And in fact, I always say, it got to a point, there was one of them that was saying, hey, that's one thing I would never forget in my entire life. And for that, I would always hold the governor accountable, because he said it to my face. He said, well, so that means you're telling me that what you're doing, you are doing it on behalf of so, and so. So they packed us in the bus, you know, and that was when one of the guys recorded the video. And, you know, of course, again, he was recording that video so that he could share with his friends and everyone that see all of them, we catch them, we beat them, we do this and that. So they took us to Party, I think that is. And getting there, those ones there did not touch us, of course, because so apparently they took us to that place first so that they could fry us there. No, they didn't fry us, they roasted us so that they could roast us there. So they roasted us there and then took us to Party, and then all of them, oh my God, sorry, well, you people should, at least you can hear me. I'm upset, like I said. So they took us to Party, and there everyone was pretending to be sane, and they were all acting nice and everything. Oh, so sorry, Mr. Mariani. I need like to say, are we moving now? Oh, okay. Let me just do it. Continue in my car then. So they kept on. Um, they were just trying to appeal to all to me. Well, because they picked me. They called me and said I should come to their office, and then they were discussing with me. Oh, it's not all of them. I'm like, but you people know these things. You see these things. You understand? There is no reason on earth why people would be protesting, and then the next line of action would be to brutalize them. I mean, it just goes to show the state that we have found ourselves. So the lawyers came, a lot of lawyers from different places. Of course, my family, well-wishers, everyone, people were around. And so late into the night, they finally released us. And Omoni, please, my car. Let's go inside the car. I'm doing a live video. So yeah. So that's briefly, in summary, that's how that night happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peroni. Wow, what an ordeal. Guys, those brutalized, roasted, slapped, beaten, put into the cell naked. Wow, thank you for sharing with us your story. So we will take Mrs. Chinere if her network permits. Mrs. Chinere, can you please unmute yourself? Mrs. Chinere, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Good day.
Good day. Thank you for joining us. Just in about 5 minutes, can you just share with us your ordeal?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. My view from in the hands of police. One day I was in my house, so I got a call. I got a call from one of the officers that they want to deliver a parcel to me. So I told them that I'm not expecting any parcel. So they later called again that they are close to my bus stop, that I can come out to my bus stop to get the parcel. I told them I wasn't expecting any parcel. So they said, let them come and deliver it to me. So when I got to, because I wanted to go out then. So when I got to the bus stop, I saw, it's not
Hello, Chinere.
Hello. There's a mistake. I'm not Chinere. I'm Opara.
Okay, all right. I think I understand that. You were given this name just as a means of protection. So please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So when I got to okay.
For the purpose of this conversation, we'll call you Chinere.
When I got to the bus stop, I met 4 men on Mufti with a private car. So they say I should get into their car. I said, get into your car for what? What is the problem? They said that I should just get into their car. So I told them I'm not going into their car because at first I was thinking they are kidnappers or they are ritualists. So the 4 of them bundled me inside their car with a gun. One of them is, so they just bundled me inside their car. They brought gun. Three of them were hitting me everywhere, on my body, my chest, my eyes. Told me that they are going to kill me if I don't shout for shouting for help. They say I should close my mouth. That if I don't close my mouth, they will use the gun on me. They will shoot me on my leg. So I now asked them what is my offense. They said that they are police officers. I told them there's nothing to identify you as a police officer. All of you are in mufti. You are not even with police car. It's just a private car. So they said that let's go to the police station first. So that they now asked me that they now told me that they would take me to Igondo police station. That's the nearest police station to my bus stop. So when we got to the roundabout going to Igondo, they didn't go there. They just start moving on to Ikeja. So I just found myself in their office at Ikeja there. So they brought me out from the car and said that I should come and meet their oga there. So I was asking them what is my offense, what is my offense. Then I said that where is my husband? I told them that my husband is not around, he traveled. They say that they want my husband. I said, okay, if you want my husband, I'm not the person you're looking for. That I pleaded with them that I have them 6 months plus through CS that I have not recovered, and the baby is very sick. He was very, very sick. I pleaded with them that they should allow me to go. They said that they will not allow me to go. So they put me inside the cell. Their men oga there directed them to put me inside the cell with a threat that I will suffer and that my baby will die. So they put me inside the cell. I was in the cell for 11 days without food, no clothes, no food, nothing. They collected my phone. There is no way I can reach my people. My people, all of them were searching for me. So one day, one of them called me out from the cell. I should come out. After 9 days, I should come out from cell to their office. So when I got to their office, there were like five officers there. So all of them were just hitting me, beating me, hitting me with belts, with their shoe. One of them just removed the head of the shoe, the heel, and punched me on my forehead. Blood started rushing out. So I just slumped there. Blood all over me, everywhere. After the hitting, after the punching, all my body. One of them will beat me and push me to the other person. The other person will hit me and push me to the other person. There we are taking turns on me. So until the other person just used the heel of shoe and hit me on my vein in my forehead. The mark is still there. The blood starts coming out. So I was begging them, I'm dying. So one of our Marshal that was in their office just helped me and gave me water. I was down there. After some minutes, they kicked me. I should get up from the floor. So I should get up from the floor. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I should get up from the floor. When I got up from the floor, they handcuffed me. They put me on handcuffs and said that I should take them to my house, that they want to go and see my house. They want to know my building. So they put me inside the car. We drove to my street. So when we got to they told me that I should call my younger brother that is with me. So I called. They brought out a phone and give to me because their brother. So my younger brother now came out of the street. They said I should not allow anybody to see me. Anybody see me that
sorry, we
I
can't.
should hide inside the
Sorry,
car.
we can't hear you. Your network is really.
They called my younger brother. My younger brother came out. So they told my younger brother there that he should give me money and bring some clothes for me. Can you hear me?
Your network is bad, and also you need to start rounding up. 1 more minute. Wow, the network is
okay.
The network is really, really bad. All right, so I'll come back to you. You know, haven't heard all these stories from Debo, from Chinyere. Let me bring in my sister, my very, very good friend, Dr. Memuna. Haven't heard of those stories. You know, I would like Dr. Memuna to speak to from the perspective of these experiences. You know, when you suffer trauma, you know, it always holds its memory, traps its memory, and there is a need for healing. I want Dr. Memuna to speak to us from the perspective of finding healing, you know, finding happiness again, yourself from all of this trauma and all of this pain. Dr. Memuna. Dr. Memuna.
Yeah.
How are you,
I'm
sister?
here. I'm here.
Over to you for the next 10 minutes. Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing.
It's great to be here. Good day, everyone, and good day to Nigerians in Nigeria and, of course, in the diaspora. I've heard Jide speak. I've heard Debo speak. I've heard Chinyere speak. And it takes me back to that very 2010, 2020. Even if you were not at the toll gate, even if you were not at the forerunner of what was happening, a lot of us watched videos, saw gully pictures, videos we cannot unsee, pictures that we cannot videos you cannot unwatch, pictures you cannot unsee. And this also is a basis for a lot of trauma that a number of us faced. Taking it as a point, as a case in point for my facility at Pinnacle Medical Services, we had people that were in the center in their cars that refused to go home. Out of fear, they couldn't sleep well. Even the reassurance that, you know, you have been attended to, sir, you can go home now. They felt more comfortable being in an environment whereby if anything goes wrong, or if that fear comes, or that panic attack, that anxiety comes, they are able to get, you know, medical assistance from the therapists, from the psychiatrists, or from the psychologists, because our beds were full, but people refused to go home. And it's still traumatizing, even as I speak as a therapist, because I still, 1 year after this whole mess, it takes me back to that point where I would say whatever anyone is feeling, then, now, even in the future, your emotions are valid. Being a Nigerian is tough enough. And in recent times, when I do my trainings, I tell people that just look at the word Nigeria, Nigerin. It's almost as if it's a risk factor. But also, when you look at the end in Nigeria, Naira devaluation. The I in Nigeria, insecurity, kidnapping, banditry, police brutality. The G in Nigeria, government policies that are not in tandem with our reality. The E in Nigeria, electricity issues. How many of us can afford to live in estate where there's 24 hours electricity? And if you have to live in such estate, you pay so much, for what we call, what they call that fee, maintenance fees. Is enough going out from your pocket. What about the R? The roads. Any little rain, there's traffic. We now have traffic-induced trauma. It's just that it's not yet in the diagnostic criteria that we use, whether in Nigeria or WHO or in the US. But in Lagos, there's traffic-induced trauma. Or is it the I? Inflation. There's so much increase in goods and services. 100,000 is maybe like 10,000 naira these days. Or is it the last letter A? With all these happening to us, whether it's Naira devaluation, dollar, you know what it's talking about, or is it the insecurity? Is it the government policies that are not realistic? Is it the electricity issue? Is it the road problem? Is it the inflation? The A sums it up. Anger in the land. You greet somebody good morning, which is part of your family value. Person will say, what is good about the money? Or truly, what is really good about the money? So when you look at the word Nigeria, someone has said being in Nigeria is a risk factor for emotional, psychological, and mental breakdown. But that takes us to healing. And I want us to understand that healing is a personal journey. No two people can heal the same way. And when we hear this word, I want to embrace healing process. I need to work on myself, or I'm trying to live my best life. But do we mean any of this? Or maybe we mean it, but we do not know that what any of it means. And how do we know we are doing any of it correctly? The physical pain is easy. You are bleeding. It's aching you. You see it. But the emotional pain is hidden. You can't really see it. You feel it. Sometimes you are going through that emotional trauma and you are shouting. You are speaking up. People are trivializing what you are dealing with. Just because I look glamorous coming on the virtual space now, people may just think all is well with me. All may not be well. Fake it till you make it. The importance of healing and getting healed is so underestimated that people don't take it as a prize thing. We don't take it as a responsibility. That's when you hear the word hurt people, hurt people. Because when you haven't healed, you don't know what it feels like. And so it's easy for you to hurt other people. So the question I want to think about is, how do you actually heal? And seriously, how do we live our best lives? As a therapist, healing and also living your best life is based on your own perception. What's your definition of healing? Would healing mean that you never talk about your past trauma anymore? Would being healed mean you never feel those emotions again? Or will it mean you forget about the experience altogether? No. You want to heal, and you want it to be a healthy kind of healing, because there are different types of healing. Healing can be unhealthy, it can be avoidant healing, it can be rushed healing, it can be consistent type of healing. You want to heal, you remember these scenarios, and you are in a better place. Because hurt people hurt people. Whatever your answers are, your definition of healing is going to affect your journey to achieve it. But here is the truth. Real, lasting healing happens when you understand what happened to you, accept that it happened to you, become aware of how the experience has affected you, your actions, and most importantly, embrace your power to shift any negative effects to positive outcomes. I know that is a lot, isn't it? This is why sometimes it is easier not to heal. It is much easier not to do the work. But if you don't deal with it on the front end, to catch up with you on the back end. By that, I mean the pain and confusion and trauma will manifest itself into your relationships, your work environment, your family interactions, and plain old attitude. There's a recent quote I came across, or it has been there, I use it a lot. What we don't repair, we repeat. Most times when you are traumatized, try to even put it on board, nip it on board, write what you feel. Larry asks a question, whatever, all the traumas you have gone through, as you think about it, write down the emotion that comes to mind. Sometimes when you do that exercise, you kind of find a pattern. Sometimes what you feel right now is a trigger to unhealed, unattended emotion of your childhood traumas. And so it is very key and it is important that what you don't repair, we repeat. This is the number one reason why healing is important. If you do not resolve those painful experiences, the emotions do not disappear. No matter how far you stop them inside of you, they are still there, just waiting for an opportunity to come out. So healing is important. And that takes us to the stages when something happens to you, how do you deal with it? The shock. A psychiatrist as far back as 1968 came about the stages of grief, but I'd rather stick to the 5 stages as against the 7. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talked about the stages. When anything happens to you, whether you misplace a pen, you lose a loved one, anything, when you go through those, the first thing that comes to mind is that shock. Denial. You want the pain to go away. You want to, in your mind, try to be in control. That shock and denial, no, this hasn't happened. Anger is a way to start noting that something has happened. That is the next stage. And it's anger that people most times can even acknowledge. When it gets to the bargaining phase, oftentimes you find that you are telling yourself, like for example, what Jide talked about, being in the cell, dirty, smelling, in COVID, they're telling him to remove his face mask. Chinyere with the baby had just had this. At that point, you're like, if I can just get out of this place, Lord, I will never be angry with anybody again. I will worship you forever. A lot of thoughts come to your mind at that point because you are trying to, all the anger you felt and everything, you see they are not working. The beating still continue. So you are bargaining and you are telling that even if you don't believe in God, you believe in that bigger power that just do this for me so that I can get out of here. And progressing to the next phase, which is depression. Not everybody feels that intense sadness, but sadness comes in where you are just, I feel helpless. I'm in this situation. Why me? I'm just trying to help. I'm just leading my voice. Why should it be me that is going through this phase before the final phase of acceptance? But like I said earlier on, your emotions are valid. You do not have to follow these stages sequentially. It doesn't have to come with denial, shock, anger, bargain, depression, acceptance. It may be depression straight on because you are unique. You are an individual and you are wonderfully made. So healing, which is a personal journey for each and one of us, we want to make sure it is healthy. We want to make sure that when you have that pain and you are told that you have a fracture and it's going to take 4 or 5 days or weeks to heal, we also want you to understand that owning up and acknowledging that you are going through pain, which is emotional, that people may not really see, is something that you have to deal with. Why? Because when you do not heal and it's bottled up, it goes to your subconscious level, which does not acknowledge negativity. And when they are there, they form an imprint that can start affecting your attitude, your productivity, your relationship. And if care is not taken, it can lead to anxiety disorders. It can lead to depressive disorders, and it can lead to substance abuse. Because when you are in that bubble and you're trying to get anything that will get you out of that state, anything and anywhere, you want to have it. And before you know what is happening, by the time you start taking this one tablet or one bottle or one glass, dependence can set in, tolerance can set in, and addiction, which is a process and never an event, can set it. This is what it also feels like in therapy. Therapy is essential. Therapy is a place where you find peace. Therapy is a place where you unbottle your mind. You are able to learn healthy habits and healthy skills to help you make progress. You remember what has happened, but you are in a better place. When you are ready to heal the healthy way, you are open to the process of healing. You take an active role. The therapist is a passive participant in your healing. You are the one that will take an active role in your therapy session. So the therapist will just give you direction, but it is up to you to do the work. And once you have healed from past experiences, it can be scary to go back into a relationship because of the fear you will make a mistake and resort back to old habits. But you have to take that risk anyway. You just have to take that risk because healthy, active, responsive healing is the only way to get back to living your life and face triggers without going back to your old ways. So you see the importance of working as a therapist. It takes a huge toll on some of us in this ecosystem. Sometimes therapists, in fact, all the times, therapists also need therapy. So when people ask me, Dr. May, how are you coping? Do you also receive therapy? I say yes, because the hunter cannot become haunted. The hunter cannot be haunted. So I also go for therapy. Because when people pour all the negativity on me, where is my own outlet? So it is key. If anyone feels traumatized emotionally, your emotions are valid, but seek for help to heal because it's your responsibility. Acknowledge that there's this pain, acknowledge that you are going through trauma, acknowledge that something has changed in you. But remember, healthy healing is the only way out. Healthy, active, responsive healing. So that when you face any life challenges again, you are able to deal with that. I think at this point, I'll leave it. And when we get back, we'll be able to continue.
Thank you very much, my very able sister. I love the way that you spelled it out. You know, Nigeria, Naira devaluation, insecurity, government policies, electricity problems, road and traffic issues, you know, inflation, and then anger. Thank you very much, Dr. Maimuna. We've got a video that we want to play. I'm just going to hand it over to the technical people. And thereafter, we will begin to ask questions from all our panelists. If you've got questions, please drop your questions in the chat room for your panelists, and then I'll facilitate that conversation. And also, if you've got questions for Dr. Maimuna. So over to you, the technical team, to play the video, and then just hand over to me when you're ready.
tunnel, didn't think that I could make it out. Got too used to the dark, I was scared of what the light would do now. I couldn't piece me back together with some band-aids and a roll of tape, sitting around wishing it all away, believing there was something better. Just took a leap of faith. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. I'm healed, ashamed. I found strength through the pain. What was broken is standing again. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. Gave myself some grace. My soul began to feel the change. Oh, I let love flood my heart, like the sun upon a tear-stained face. I'm slowly learning to be grateful. Find some purpose in all my heart. I'm discovering what I'm worth. Just take one step to turn the tables, but I had to take it first. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. I'm healed, ashamed. I found strength through the pain. What was broken is standing again. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. Oh, I keep getting stronger. Won't stay down no longer. Starting to breathe again, learn to believe again. Oh, now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. I found strength through the pain. What was broken, I'm standing again. Oh, I'm healing. I am healing. I'm healing. I'm healing. Oh.
Seems like we're having some technical hitches. Seems like we're
Just go ahead, it's fine.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
That was so therapeutic, listening to that music. And this is one of the things that we can do to heal from trauma. When we listen to good soul music, music is food for the soul. But the kind of music that you listen to is very, very key to the speed with which you heal. So, just to reiterate what everybody said and what the conversations that we had in the first, program on Clubhouse. How do we overcome trauma? It's great for us to know what trauma is. It's good for us to know what the symptoms of trauma is. And Dr. Maimuna has shared with us some of the ways we can heal from trauma. So I'm just going to speak to it in 5 minutes, and then, we'll wait for your questions. Just drop all your questions into the chat room. So what is trauma? Trauma is really our emotional response to negative, limiting, disempowering, and terrible, highly stressed events that happen around us. So events like, police brutality, like torture, like rape, like accidents, like harassments, like pseudo war, like natural disasters, like war. And, people experience traumas as a response to those physical events, emotional events, threatening events, and harmful events. Now, when people suffer from trauma, it has emotional, psychological, and physical effects on their body. The first thing that begins to happen is anger. Dr. Memuna rounded up the acronym called Nigeria by, using A as the last A. Anger, rage, high irritation, fear, sadness, shame, confusion, anxiety, depression, numbness, guilt, hopelessness, irritation, difficulty in focusing and concentrating. You forget things, you lose your memory. You start to depend on substance. So you get into substance abuse, alcoholism, drug abuse. You start having challenges sleeping. You suffer from insomnia. And when you eventually sleep, you have nightmares. You start to overeat, you undereat, you start to put on weight, you start to lose weight. You have what we call very short fuses, where you have regular emotional outbursts. You are withdrawn, you have flashbacks, frequent flashbacks from the situation and the event that you went through. You have regular headaches, regular migraines. You have digestive issues, irritable bowel syndrome. One day you have diarrhea, the other day you have constipation. Your digestive system just seems to have a mind of its own. You are easily fatigued. You constantly have a racing heart. Your pulse rate increases, your heartbeat pounds, you over sweat, you feel jumpy, you suffer from hyper arousal, and you are in a constant state of alertness. Now, if you're experiencing each and some of these, effects, then you're probably suffering from the effects of trauma. Look, the truth of the matter, right, is if we all live in Nigeria, we will all or each experience some of these effects every now and then. It's almost like living in a home where your parents are abusive, right? Even if you are not the subject of abuse, even if it's your brother, you can observe the abuse and you suffer what we call secondary trauma, right? And, and you are warned when your brother does something and is beaten, right? And you are warned, you are also traumatized. And so, our condition in Nigeria is really an abusive situation. It's like you're living in a home where the father and the mother, is highly, abusive. Oh, most definitely it will affect you. And you will, display some dysfunctional tendencies. Now, you need to begin to protect yourself because you cannot control what goes on around you. And so your own emotional, psychological, and physical well-being is your responsibility. And how do you do that? Make sure that you boost your dose of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins on a daily basis. And there are specific things that you need to do to make sure you have the right dose of dopamine, the right dose of oxytocin, the right dose of serotonin and endorphins. Those 4 hormones we call the 4 happy hormones. And what do? Take care of yourself. Remember that you are the most important in this situation. Your spiritual state, your emotional state, your psychological state, your intellectual state, and your physical state. Eat well, exercise, pray, develop your spirituality, go for your spa treatment, mani, pedi, massage, take your vitamins and your supplements. Reduce your exposure to the triggers that remind you of the event. So if you were traumatized at Lekki toll gate, try as much as possible to go through the Ikoyi toll gate, right? If you are still suffering from those, hyperarousals and those triggers, just go through another route. Avoid exposure to, the environment and the event. Talk about your trauma, most especially to a professional, right? As we're doing this, some people are finding healing. So acknowledge the trauma, don't deny it, share your experience. The more you talk about it, right, the more you are releasing yourself from it. They say a problem discussed is half solved, but make sure you are discussing with the right people Make sure you create the right support around yourself. Stay connected with people. Stay connected with people, people of like mind, people that can give you emotional, psychological, intellectual, and physical and social support. Make sure that you keep a positive mental attitude. You are thinking positive, you are seeing positive, you are believing positive. There's so much negativity in our environment in Nigeria today, but guess what? There's still so much positivity. And so, you know, in an environment where there's a lot of challenges, in an environment where there's a lot of pain, in an environment where there's a lot of, you know, trauma, there's also a lot of opportunities. So Dr. Maimuna spoke about so many things, you know, electricity being one, that's an opportunity. Traffic being another, that's an opportunity. Insecurity being another, that's an opportunity. Inflation being another, that's an opportunity. Naira devaluation being another, that's an opportunity. So it's important for you to be able to see opportunities even in the midst of challenges. I often say to people, the way you see the problem is the problem. So make sure, right, that you develop positive mental attitude, develop mental and emotional resilience, right? You know, challenges and troubles do not make us, they reveal us to ourselves. They kill us if we develop our mental and emotional resilience. Get back into your routine. Find a routine if you don't have any. Create a routine if you don't have any, and follow your routine. Now, consistently, on a weekly basis, incorporate fun into your lifestyle. Comedy, the movies, laughter, dance. Do something that you love. So between COVID and now, between NSAS and now, I've started playing the saxophone. I've started pottery. I've started learning music. I've started doing phone photography. Why? It is my escape. You've got to find something. You've got to do something that is fun, something you love, something that when you get into it, right, you are lost. You know, you forget the stress and the pain and the trauma. Do something relaxing. Go swimming. You know, go to the spa. Listen to good soul music. Then make sure that you're selfless. Find people who need help that you can help. People that cannot pay you back. Reach out to them. Philanthropy, helping people, right? Also, discover your purpose and live your life purposefully, because that gives you happiness, fulfillment, contentment, and peace. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Live a harmonious lifestyle. Practice breathing exercise, but make sure that you get a therapist. Make sure that you get a life coach. Make sure that you speak to a professional. I know that Enough is Enough is put together a program where you can get help. You can get, you know, to speak to a therapist. And so, you know, reach out to Enough is Enough through their website and make sure that if you're traumatized, if you're suffering from trauma, you are able to speak to a therapist. On that note, we're now, yes, the link for the helpline and you speaking to a counselor, a therapist, a coach has been shared in the chat room. Please make use of it. It may not be for you. It may be for someone you know. So copy that link, keep it somewhere. Please share it with people that you feel need help. Awesome. So do we have any questions, Yemi? Are there any specific questions, you know, that the participants have for our panelists?
They're not in the chat box, just people really commending the panelists for sharing their story, wanting recording, sort of sharing some empathy with the people who have shared their story. Well, this one is not really a question. When you said earlier that people should put in the chat box what they were feeling, Mr. Smith said anxiety, that it feels anxious. So I don't know if you want to maybe just talk specifically about that, but
all right,
yeah.
all right. Thank you very much. And you know, There are many, many things in the last, 2 years that is causing many of us anxiety. One of it is COVID. Based on research, many more than fewer of us are going through one form of anxiety or the other. And when you suffer anxiety, it's the same, these mental and emotional challenges operate on a spectrum. And so some of the things that I've shared with us tonight, practice mindfulness and meditation, practice the breathing exercises. So if you go to my Instagram handle, at Lanre Olushola, just search out the breathing, the 474 breathing exercise. There are different types of breathing exercises, or just Google it, right? Practice breathing and be aware of your breathing, right? Ensure that you practice mindfulness. Listen to nice, soul calming music, especially music that, is played with the strings, the harp and the piano, the piano. Listen to stringed music. It will calm you down. Make sure you also, engage in fun activities. Comedy is very good. Laughter is very good. And that's why I started out by, thanking Mr. Macaroni and all, comedians for keeping us sane in the last 2 years. It has truly, truly been, one of the most difficult times in history. The whole world is suffering from COVID, right? And then we in Nigeria are compounding our own issues, with insecurity, herdsmen, Boko Haram, police brutality, NSAS, the Lekki Tollgate, saga. So we just compounded our issues and almost 10x, people's anxiety. There's so much insecurity. There's so much, uncertainty. There's so much, people are just living in drones. People are going to Canada, Australia, Europe, people are just leaving. And so even organizations are traumatized. I work with quite a number of big organizations, like PwC, KPMG, a lot of them are suffering from, the brain drain. People are just leaving. And so in one day, 20 people can just resign, without giving notice. They just quit work. So there's a lot that's going on around us. And we need to take responsibility for our sanity, for, creating and maintaining a sound state of mind and a sound state of being. And so let me just bring in my colleague, Dr. Maimuna, to speak to us, for 5 minutes on how else to manage anxiety, especially, with the current trend in our environments today, and also latching onto, and a lot of other, international phenomena. Dr. Maimuna, just 5 minutes, just, speak to us on how to manage anxiety.
Thank you very much, Larry, for this, and thank you. Enough is enough. You are doing an amazing job. You cannot help all Nigerians, but at least one life you help is very key. Let's touch one life at a time, or one day at a time. It's key. And that is where we say everybody can be in this space, starting from where you are, in your own little corner, in your own little space. What exactly are you doing? And how are you promoting that holistic awareness? During the lockdown, the COVID, which is still ongoing anyway, though lockdown has been eased off, we are getting countries opening up. And now, Nigerians were among the very few. Yeah, we know that other countries suffered a whole lot, but we experienced back-to-back COVID-19 and NSAS, which was so traumatizing, and quite a number of people that have been dealing with other issues, past traumas that they haven't found closure for, with going through what we call secondary re-traumatization. With the different companies we work with about 16 or 18 companies now, banks to multinationals to different sectors, and having over 300,000 Nigerian employees and their families in Nigeria, West Africa, Central and East Africa. There was sporadic and exponential increase in seeking for mental health care and services then and even now. And 3 major mental health challenges that we found were anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. These ones are very easy for you to note what is happening. But aside from these 3 major ones, 2 are almost as if they are silent, but a number of us are in that space, but we do not even know what we are dealing with. One is what we call languishing. Languishing is a neglected middle child of mental health continuum, whereby you are in a state of apathy. You are not clinically depressed, but you are not flourishing. You feel languished. You feel as if nothing really is working for you. Nothing is, no progress. But you are not depressed. You're not going through all the symptoms of depression, but you are in that languishing phase. And that is why it became the most dominant emotion for 2020, and it has spilled over to 2021. We've had 3 cycles or waves of COVID, but I want to let this house know there'll be a 4th wave and there'll be a 5th wave, but they're not COVID as in increase in the rate of COVID. The 4th wave would be the financial challenges, which we are already dealing with. And the 5th wave would be the increase in the rate of mental illnesses, which we're already dealing with. It was postulated that by 2020, number 1 medical condition that has the highest rate of disability would be depression. But in 2020, it became number 1. So we have to understand what we are dealing with, how we are dealing, what are the issues on a day-to-day basis. When you wake up as a Nigerian, pray that Nigeria will never happen to you negatively. Pray that Nigeria cannot affect your mental health, because Nigeria can actually happen to you. And that's why these anxiety issues are on the rise. Anxiety is a normal emotion. You have to do a lot of things, you need that emotion, but it becomes an issue when it starts affecting your interpersonal relationship, your productivity, and your day-to-day activities. So I'm going to round up with a very popular acronym I've been using since the onset of COVID-19. And I strongly believe that each and every one of us here, we need it. It's called self-care. Self-care is not selfishness, but self-care is self-preservation. You cannot give what you do not have, and you shouldn't operate from a place of deficit. You need to understand who you are. We all need to start, befriending ourselves. We all need to start being in a relationship with ourselves. The world will not end because of what is happening. Somebody has asked a question. Did the government provide healing for people? No, the government did not provide healing, and the government will never provide healing. That is why it is a personal responsibility for us. We need to heal. Collectively, all of us have been traumatized globally. If not anything, COVID-19 happened. So when we look at Dr. May's self-care rule, you can imply it, you can begin to start using it for yourself, teach people around you, and also let people begin to heal. There are self-help tips. The S is self-awareness. Be aware of what is stressing you, what your triggers are, where are the traumas coming from? Because when you are aware, it's easier to begin that healthy, active, responsive healing. where you have to take responsibility for it. Self-awareness is the first rule of self-care. The E is exercise. Larry talked about the dose, the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, and endorphins. When you exercise, it activates and boosts your feel-good hormones, which is endorphins. When these are boosted, it helps to relieve you of your fears, your anxiety, and even mild cases of depression. So please, do yourself a favor. 30, 45 minutes brisk walk is what you need. Don't say because I'm slim, I don't need exercise. You are not exercising to be slim, or you're exercising to be fit. Your heart will thank you for it. And by the way, no matter how slim or big you are, the size of your heart does make a fix of your hand. That is the size of your heart, no matter how slim or big you are. So please do yourself a favor to exercise, to boost these feel-good hormones. The L is limit exposure to excessive news and social media. I'm not saying you shouldn't be on social media or not, but excessive, because what you've watched, you cannot unwatch it. What you've seen, you cannot unsee it. These are imprints that go into the subconscious level. When those things happen, it can traumatize us for a very long time. So limit exposure to excessive news and social media. Any app that is no longer serving you, feel free to uninstall it. It's your money, it's your phone, it's your data. You are in WhatsApp groups that are no longer serving your sanity. Exit those WhatsApp groups. Let it be written there, Memuna exited the WhatsApp group, and be unapologetic about it. You do not need such toxicity. The environment is already hostile. You need to protect your sanity. What is the F? Find and engage in pleasurable activities. Yoga, meditation. Larry, I see him learning saxophone. Me, I've started doing gardening in my small backyard. In fact, with my 3 children, I planted water leaf. You make sure you nurture it. It must not die. You bitter leaf, make sure you nurture it. It must not die. The bigger girl, pawpaw. And now we have started harvesting our bitter leaf. So find and engage in pleasurable activities, things that will uplift you. There's so much negativity around. Find and engage in those things. C is connect. About 39 to 42 persons have been in and out of this group virtually. Now lockdown is off. We are connecting with people physically. Connect with the right set of people. We need to begin to build healthy support systems, people that will serve our sanity, people that will help us keep us sane. In your circle of influence, it's important that the right set of people are in your inner circle. And if the people there are no longer serving you, feel free to fumigate. It's allowed. Fumigate them to the middle and outer circle. You do not need such toxicity and negativity in your life. The A is ask for help. With answers, the word Sorosoke came. It is not only for millennials and Gen Zs, for everybody. It's time for us to Sorosoke. So if you're in this group now, you're traumatized, you need healing, enough is enough, they have helplines. If you think you don't want it, you have HMO that have mental health services. Log in. It's your responsibility. Find healing. Find closure. Because hurt people hurt people. So Sorosoke is a sign of strength and never a sign of weakness. R is rest and sleep. Please stop giving excuses for sleep and rest. Stop thinking because you are sleeping away your destiny. Try not to charge your phone in a day and you are using the phone actively. The battery will run down and the phone will switch off. There is no award, no accolade anywhere for the busiest person on earth. Stop mixing business with productivity. Don't do that. You need rest. You need sleep. It gets you revamped, rejuvenated, re-energized, refocused, and you can re-strategize in your pursuit for greatness. And the last E is eating right. Stop making your plate look like white and red rice and stew. Make your plate colorful. Let there be some small grains here. I know people will say, oh, there's no money. But when you fall ill, all that money you've been saving, you will use it. What will it profit you? Where from beginning of the year, you've been saving. In December, you now go to the hospital and spend all the money. Eat right now. Lifestyle changes, lifestyle modifications, let it start from you. At least, if not anything, follow Dr. May's self-care rule. Be self-aware, exercise, limit exposure to excessive news and social media. Find and engage in pleasurable activities. Connect with the right set of people. Ask for help, rest and sleep, eat right. Be intentional, because when you burn out, you are useless to yourself and useless to others. Emotional bankability is what you should achieve. Because when you go to the bank, you deposit money or you withdraw. Are you emotionally bankable? Are you depositing the right things to your emotional bank so when you need it, you can be able to withdraw? Because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, who will? And if it's not now, then when? Please seek for help when and if you need it.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Memuna. Look out for Dr. Memuna, follow Dr. Memuna. You know, just today, I was on Dr. Memuna's Instagram. You know, Dr. Memuna was saying that we providers of care, we also need help. So today, I was on Dr. Memuna's Instagram. Wow, I learned so much. You know, Dr. Memuna now has 3 columns. You know, the left column, the right column. The left column and the right column talks about sex. Oh, I found that so illuminating. I found that so educating. I found that so interesting. You know, you need to go, you know, stimulate your mind, learn, because you know what? The more you learn, the more you know. And the more you know, the more you are able to cope with the situations and circumstances around you. So follow Dr. Memuna. She is a repertoire of information, knowledge, and insight. So, you know, thank you very much, Dr. Memuna, for gracing this panel discussion. So, Jide, are you still here? In 1 minute, you know, just give us your rounding and parting words, Jide.
Hey, hi guys, hi. Okay, so what exactly was you say?
Yes, just in 1 minute, just give us your parting words. You know, you've heard everything we've all discussed. You know, positive. Let's end on a positive note. Give us a positive, you know, charging statement.
So first of all, a big shout out to everybody here. A big shout out to Dr. Mimuna. We love you so much. This is so amazing. A big shout out to everybody who came to talk about this topic. And I mean, we all know that our future is in our hands. That we have to take this back. And I believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And Nigeria just needs the right people to lead it. You know, Nigeria needs the right leaders, and we have to, you know, take the step and, you know, hold on to it. That's the most important thing. And help other people, help ourselves. Like, as Nigerians, we need to help ourselves more. We need to, like, help other people. We need to show them love. We need to, like, make sure we help them. And, you know, that's just it. Be nice, be kind to other people out there. And that's what I have to say, because, I mean, at the end of the day, we are all alone. So we need one person to help us. Just help your life. Like everybody said, touch your life, help your life, you know. So that's it. And yeah, that's it. And there's a song that I was super excited because my voice was using Burna Boy song 2010-20. So my words were like, let them shoot, everyone see that, like, that gives you so much joy that there's still gonna be hope, you know, when there's no hope. So so that's just how it is. Just be kind to people, help people, and, you know, support people. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for everybody for giving this, you know, platform to talk about my experience. I'm so excited tonight. Thank you so much. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Chinyere, one last word for us. Let's end this on a positive note. So just 1 minute. Mrs. Chinyere. Is she here? Is she here? All right. Is Mr. Macaroni still with us? I can't seem to see him. Is Mr. Macaroni still here? No, Debo is gone.
No.
All right. Okay. So, thank you very much, everyone. We started this conversation. I mean, we started this program with great music. And that was a bit nostalgic. Watching the T.Y. Belo's video on the future is here. I remember vividly when we shot that video. It was in Ikeja. It was a very powerful experience. It helped us reconnect with the soul of our nation. And, the interesting thing is there's no Nigeria without you and I. We are Nigeria. The geographical space is not Nigeria. Nigeria consists of the people, and that is you and I. You are Nigeria. I am Nigeria, and we are the future. And, Nigeria is what we think of it, how we think about it, what we say about it. Nigeria is what we believe it to be, our deepest convictions, our imaginations, our visualizations, our thoughts and our beliefs and our words about Nigeria invariably will manifest the Nigeria that we say. We all have what we think. We all have what we believe. We all have what we say. If we each begin to visualize a new Nigeria as part of our own contribution, not just only doing that, but it is one of the most critical things that we all have to do. If we all visualize, we all believe, we all begin to pay, positive affirmations to Nigeria. We put it out there in the universe. The universe will begin to correspond with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our words. Nosa said that in his song, Open Doors. It says that Nigeria is the land of diversity. Nigeria is the land of unity. Nigeria is the land of peace. Nigeria is the land of wealth, is the land of riches. Wow. My prayer is that will be the Nigeria that you will become. And that will be the Nigeria that you will create around you, such that if each and every one of us in our spheres of influence and around our locus of control, we create the Nigeria of our dreams. We live the Nigeria of our dreams. And cumulatively, each and every one of us will be putting out the right positive energy that will attract the right positive energy. And remember, 2023 is round the corner. That is how we can make change happen. All of this anger, all of this trauma, all of this pain, let us, put it into our votes and let us go out there, right? And vote. Use our power. Democracy is called the power of the people, by the people, for the people. We have the power. Let nobody say that we do not have the power. The youth have the numbers. We can bring change. We can make change happen. Let us galvanize all our efforts, all our anger, all our strategies, and all our resources. Let us focus on 2023 and say enough is enough. On that note, I want to thank enough.
Before you go, Larry.
Yes.
No, before you go, please. The only question we have, and I want you to answer, or either you or Dr. Mimuna, it's by gift. And basically saying that given what is coming up, the elections that you're talking about, is there any specific thing as relate to elections in regard to being active, but safeguarding your mind against trauma? Let me just read it. Specifically with the anger in the land, how can youths in general safeguard themselves in the foreseeable trauma given the general election to happen in 2023 precisely, pre, during, and post-election?
All right. I'll let Dr. Maimuna go first, and then I'll wrap it up. Dr. Maimuna. Doc?
I did not get that question. Sorry.
All right.
I did not get that question.
Yemi, do you want to read it again?
I'll read it now. Yes. With the current happenings in Nigeria, as you have described with each of the alphabet, specifically with the anger in the land, how can youths in general safeguard themselves in the foreseeable trauma given the general election to happen in 2023 precisely, pre, during, and post-election? Thank you.
Awesome question. And I like the fact that, we are directing it to 2023. 2023 is just around the corner. And with what is happening, nobody is going to be, no Nigerian is a better Nigerian than another Nigerian. And so we have to take the bull by the horn. If we have to change the narrative, it has to come from us. With the last election, not too young, not to run thing, and at the end of the day, we found out that it didn't. The progress we will have seen wasn't as what we saw, whether it was truncated or for whatever reason it is. Let's begin by doing the right thing. As far as you are 18, you are in Nigeria, get registered. Get your PVC. Take destiny in your hands. Let us not live, because when we look at over 60% of Nigerians are youths. And at the end of the day, we see have all these people still coming back over and over, recycled, or generous, recycled politicians. And are they giving room for young people to grow? If there is, connection, if there is understanding, if we come together as one, we can do much more. And, with the anger in the land, how can youth in general safeguard themselves in the unforeseen trauma? It's already like we are projecting that it's going to be trauma. We have to even ask ourselves, have you even healed from the past trauma? Because with unforeseen trauma, that is almost a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. Election will happen regardless, but responsibility on how you are dealing with your emotional issues, how you take charge of protecting and prioritizing your mental health. These are things you have to do yourself. These are things you have to own. These are things we should demand. My mandate has been normalizing mental health conversations by building a culture of compassion. We lack a culture of compassion. Let's even start from there. Let's start normalizing mental health conversations, whereby the government will even see it as a need to put, services in place where people can even sort healing. NHIS is not still up to 15% of the Nigerian population. And that is supposed to be our health insurance scheme. And it's supposed to have mental health component to it. But how much should they even cover? Let's bring it down to the private sector, health management organizations, the HMOs. How many of them will have mental health services, in their own scheme? And that is why I said, let's start with ourselves, the self-care tips. Do those things. While we are waiting for our local government, the state government, and the national government to take charge of other things, what are you doing in your own little corner? What changes are you making? What narratives are you changing? When we build a culture of compassion, it's easy for people to be heard. It's easy for us to speak up and speak out. It's easy for us to encourage help-seeking behavior. It's easy for us to listen to people without judging them, without criticizing them, and most importantly, as Nigerians, without being apostolic towards them. How are we creating safe spaces for people to accommodate people to talk? Unforeseen trauma, it is already unforeseen. Will it happen? Almost 150% because there will be brutalization, ballot boxes will be taken, all these things, but go back to the basics, also fulfill that righteousness. I registered, I got my PVC, I voted for for my candidate, even if he didn't win. It helps you to also stay emotionally grounded that you did what you had to do. Larry?
Wow. Thank you very much. So you know, thank you very much, Dr. Maimuna. The first thing, you know, is you have to get healing. Get healing. Now, the second thing is you have to learn from the past. Now, one of the most beautiful things that has happened in Nigeria, one of the most incredible things that I've seen happen in Nigeria was NSAS. The organization was incredible. The coordination was phenomenal. And a set of people from different walks of life came together, right, to put a stop to something. Wow, that was incredible. There was a vision. The people became one. All the resources were put together. All efforts and actions were put towards that one vision. End SARS. Did we end SARS? Yes. Now, what can we learn from that? We achieved a lot of things. We made a lot of mistakes. We've got to learn from our mistakes, and we've got to learn from our successes. And we have to go back to the drawing board. And the way that we made a success of NSAS, we need to make a success of 2023. With a vision, the people will succeed. Without a vision, the people will perish. And so, just as it was done with NSAS, it can be done. It can be done. NSAS was a case study. How do we begin to take the lessons from that case study and take it to scale? It is the power of the people, by the people, for the people. You have too much power that you do not know. I say to people that the person that has power that doesn't know is powerless. The person that has power knows that he has power but doesn't know how to use it is powerless. The only person that has power is the person that understands power, knows he has power, and knows how and when to use his power. We have power. And what is our power? Our unity, our vision, direction, our focus, our desire, and our action. So I want to challenge everybody. Based on that question, what do we do? Let's learn from the past. Let us re-strategize. Let us take all of that success and all that positive energy into 2023. And guess what? If we do this, when the people become one, with one vision, with one conviction, with one focus, nothing can stop the people. On that note, I want to hand over to Enough is Enough. My job is done. Yemi and your team, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you so very much. And for those of you who have joined us on this conversation, as I said, this was the second in the series. Last week, we talked about trauma, just laying the foundation. Had Rinu Odwala, who is one of the leading members of the NSAS movement. We had Lola Vaiva-Adeniyi from the Lagos State government, who leads the Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Agency. And we had, of course, Larry moderating. And we had Dr. Akin as a professional. So today we've had three people share their stories. Chinyere and Jide, who you heard. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear Chinyere well, but you heard a bit of her story. Mr. Macaroni, whose story was well publicized at the time, but there were elements of it he was sharing now that I hadn't heard before. So thank you very much to our three guests. And lastly, obviously, our professionals, Dr. Maimuna, I love her use of acronyms. She did it for self-care, she did it for Nigeria, an easy way to remember these things. So thank you very much, Dr. Maimuna, for your time and sharing of your knowledge with us this evening. And of course, our dear moderator, Larry, who is recognized as one of Africa's premier life, mind, emotions, and behavioral change coaches. Thank you so much for believing in this project and choosing to lend of your length of your time to get this work done. As Coach Larry has said, EIE is providing a platform. We're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination. We're just trying to provide a funnel for people who need care, and for those who can afford it, those who can't afford it, meeting people where they are so they can get the care that they need. So please fill out the form. It's on our website, eie.ng, and you'll be connected to coaches in Larry's team, coaches with Dr. Mimuna's organization, Dr. Akin, who was on last week as well. So please, and it's not just for you, even if you know people who might need it, share the link with them as we try to help. As Dr. Mimuna said, we can't reach every Nigerian, but most certainly we'll reach as many as we can, so that as they get healing and find their voice, as Nigerians, we can use our voices in a more positive way. Thank you again. Once again, Thursday Talks every third Thursday of the month. So we'll be back, or last Thursday, sorry. So we'll be back again in November for another edition of Thursday Talks. Have a lovely evening. Philip?
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united